there is a horizontal surface, and here I have just placed an object which is having a mass of m. So I am applying some force to pull it, and the applied force is of 10 Newton. With respect to the horizontal line, the angle of inclination I am saying it is of 30 degree. So what should be the horizontal component? In the previous case, we have learned that the horizontal component should be of 10 cos of a 30 degree, and the vertical component should work in this direction. It will be of 10 sine 30 degree, right? The horizontal component should be equals to the value of hypotenuse if we are seeing that it's actually a triangle. So in this case, the force which is applied on the mass m, the value of the force multiplied by cos of 30 degree, and along the vertical axis or along the vertical line, the value of the force it should be of 10 sine 30. Okay, why that this thing is clear, everyone?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so we know that how to find out the value. In this case, the horizontal component, it should be of 10 cos 30. So it is of 10 multiplied by the value of cos 30 is how much? It is of root 3 by 2. So if I cut them, so it will be 2 5s are 10, and it will be of 5 root 3 that much Newton. What should be the vertical component? The vertical component should be of 10 sine 30. If I substitute the value of sine 30, it will be half. And if I cut them, I will get the value of force that is of 5 Newton, right? So in this example, the horizontal component is 5 root 3 Newton and the vertical component is 5 Newton only. Why that this total example is clear, how to find out the components of a given quantity if it is having some inclination angle with respect to the horizontal axis or horizontal line. If I give you some of the questions as homework, I hope you will able to solve it, right? Now we are proceeding for the rest of the concepts of the vector. Okay. Do you have any question or any doubt? Students, just say if you have any of the questions or any of the doubt. You can reply in the chat as well. I can see the chat. I'm having a menu above the total slide. So there I can see everything. Now, in the next page, we are going to understand that what are the types of vectors. Types of vectors. Okay. So at first we will understand what is mean by equal vector. Equal vectors. Equal vectors means what? That means suppose you are given two of the vectors as a vector, it is equals to suppose 3 I cap plus of 4 j cap. Okay. Another vector, suppose it is given b vector, it is equals to suppose 4 I cap plus of 3 j cap. Okay, so these are the two vectors that are given to you. You have to say whether the two vectors are equal or not. So how to find it out? So the equal vectors can be recognized by finding the magnitude as well as the direction, right? If their magnitude and direction they both are same, then we can say that these two vectors are equal. Okay, so for a vector and b vector, we should start finding the magnitude. That is modulus of a vector will gives the magnitude of a vector, right? So modulus of a vector, it is equals to under root of coefficient of I cap, that is 3 its whole square, plus coefficient of j, that is 4 its whole square. If I just do the calculation, it will come under root of 3 square is 9 and 4 square is 16. After doing the calculation, it will come as under root of 25 and it is equals to only 5, right? Now, if I find out the magnitude of B vector, what I will get? It will be of under root of coefficient of I cap, this is 4, its whole square, plus coefficient of j cap, it is 3, its whole square. And after doing the calculation, here also I am getting the magnitude as 5. So for these two vectors, the magnitude is same, but I have to check the direction as well. How to find out the direction? Whether the both of the vectors are in the same direction? What do you say? Up to this part, whether it is clear? The calculation part, that means the finding of modulus and so on. Okay, there is a chat. Let me watch it. Okay, thank you. Okay, okay. I got your chat messages. Now, whenever you have to check the direction, there is a procedure that will take help of the coordinate axes. Okay, so I'm moving to the next slide because there the space is very small and I can't draw the coordinate axes. So, in the next slide, we can say that this is the first coordinate system. This is your x-axis, this is your y-axis. Suppose initially one vector which is named as a vector, it is having the position as 3 comma 4. How I can say, because it is represented as a vector equals to 3 I cap plus of 4 j cap. That means it is having a magnitude of 3 along x-axis and it is having a value of 4 along y-axis. So that's why the position is determined in this way, right? Now, if I just make them join with the help of dotted line, so it will be helpful for us to find out the direction. How to find out the direction? Now, there the inclination angle, we are saying this is of theta. Now, if you are taking tan theta, what will be its value? Tan theta equals to how much? From the basics, we know that tan theta equals to perpendicular by of base. So in this case, perpendicular, that means the component which is working along the y-axis or along the vertical axis. The component we can say that is a 4 divided by perpendicular by base. We know that thing. What is the value of base? That is the component of the quantity which is working along the horizontal line or horizontal axis. This is of 3. So I can say tan theta equals to 4 by 3 and theta equals to tan inverse of 4 by 3. In this way, we can find out the direction of a particular vector quantity. Okay. Whether this thing is clear? Finding of
Yes, sir.
okay, that's good. Now I'm just drawing a small separation line, okay, because I have to do the next part because I have done only for a vector now. I have to do for b vector as well. So let me change the ink. So this is the coordinate axis I have drawn here again. This is my x-axis, that's my y-axis. So now the B vector is represented as a 4 I cap plus of 3 j cap. Na? B vector is 4 I cap plus of 3 j cap. So I can say that the position of the object B should have the coordinate like 4 comma 3, right? So if I join that with the help of the dotted line from origin, so it will look like this. So if I find out the value, in this case the inclination angle, you can say as phi, because you can't take theta again. You have already used that. So we have taken phi. Okay, that symbol is known as phi. Now, what will be the value of tan phi? Tan phi is equals to the perpendicular divided by the base. In this case, the vertical component is 3 and the horizontal component is 4. So it will be equals to 3 by 4. If I find out the value of phi, it will be equals to tan inverse of 3 by 4. Whether this thing is clear? How to find out the direction? Now, whenever you have found that theta and phi, right, for both of the vector quantities, whether the values are equal, just say whether the values are equal or not. In the chat box also you can see. The value of theta and the value of phi, whether these two things are equal. Theta equals to tan inverse 4 by 3 and phi equals to tan inverse 3 by 4. How we can say that these two values are equal? Because tan inverse 4 by 3 and tan inverse 3 by 4, these two values are not equal, right? Because you know 3 by 4 and 4 by 3, these two things are different now. So in this example, we can see that the vector quantities we have taken, they both have same magnitude, but the direction is different. So these two vectors are not equal. For the vectors to be equal, the magnitude and the direction, they both should have to be same, right? So in the previous case, whatever the examples we have taken as a vector and b vector, where we can find that their magnitudes are equal, but the direction is different, right? So what is the name of these two type of vectors? So these vectors are actually known as equivalent vectors. Okay, equivalent vectors are those vector quantities who have equal magnitude, but the direction can be different. Okay, so for them we can say that these two vectors are equivalent vectors. So here I'm just writing down the conclusion that a vector and b vector are having equal magnitude, but direction is not same. Direction is not same. So a vector and b vectors are, sorry, a vector and b vector are equivalent vector. Equivalent and equal, both are two different things. Okay, so a vector and b vector are equivalent vectors. I will give you one example that you can understand the equal vector. Okay, initially whatever the examples we have taken, it becomes the equivalent vectors because their magnitude is same but their direction is different. So why the reason is clear why I am saying these two vectors as equivalent.
Because the directions are same, directions are different and magnitude are same.
Very good. Now let's move and take some examples of them. Now, so what should be the examples of equal vectors? Suppose I am saying that in this case we are taking different example as a p vector. P vector equals to 3 I cap and the q vector, it is also equals to 3 I cap. So in this case, if I find out the magnitude of both of the vectors, that means modulus of p vector will be equals to 3 and modulus of q vector, it is also equals to 3. If I find out the direction, then p vector is working along x-axis. Suppose this is the coordinate axis we have drawn here, right? This is x-axis and this is y-axis. So we can say that p vector is working along x-axis and it is having a component of 3 units along x-axis, right? The component along x-axis is 3 units for p vector. Okay. And for the case of q vector also, the magnitude along x-axis is same. So we can see they both are having equal magnitude and they both are having same direction because both of the vectors are working along the x-axis only. So here we have to define that why I am saying that these two vectors are known as equal vectors. So here p vector, so here p vector and q vector are having equal magnitude, right? P vector and q vector are having equal magnitude but and same direction, right? Equal magnitude and same direction. So that's why p vector and q vector are equal. This is the difference between the equal and equivalent. Okay. Now, who have joined in the name of physics? What's your name? Introduce yourselves, otherwise it will be kicked out.
Sonam Gatsabutia, sir.
No, not the physics. Who have joined in the name of physics? He or she is not able to connect with the audio as well. I hope there will be some student, but the original name should be shown because the attendance will be taken at the end of the class. Okay, so that's why the original name should be there, otherwise the attendance will be 0 in this class. Okay. Now, whether all the things, that means the equal vectors and equivalent vectors, both are clear. I can take more examples of equal vector. If I am saying, suppose there are two vectors, as m vector equals to 60 I cap, n vector equals to 60 I cap. So I can say these two vectors are also equal vectors. Suppose I am taking that y vector, it is equals to 90 k cap and z vector equals to 90 k cap. So these two vectors are also equal vectors, right? Because they both are
Yes, sir.
having same magnitude and same direction. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Now we are moving to the next concept. I have already told you about the unit vector, so I'm not repeating that portion because you know what are the unit vectors, that is I cap, j cap and k cap. Okay. Now, we'll study what is parallel vectors. Okay. What is parallel vectors? That means the vectors, they say to be parallel when suppose the two vectors are taken in this way, that a vector, it is equals to, for example, we can say 3 I cap, and suppose b vector. Okay. Oh, sorry. B vector, it is of 6 I cap. Now, in this case, the two examples I have taken, I'm saying that these two vectors are parallel in nature. Why? because they both are having the same direction, but the magnitude of one vector is actually the multiple of another vector, because 3 2s are 6. We can see they both are working in the same direction. So that's why I'm saying that these two vectors are parallel in nature. Okay. So if I find out their magnitude, it will be very much easy for us, because we know that magnitude of A vector, it is equals to 3, and the magnitude of B vector, it is equals to 6, right? And I can say that magnitude of B vector, it is equals to twice of the magnitude of A vector. Whether this condition is true, just say now, whether this condition is true or not, that the magnitude of B vector, it is equals to twice of the magnitude of A vector. Whether it is true or not, because in this case the magnitude of A vector is 3 and magnitude of B vector is 6. So B vector is having a magnitude of 6, it is equals to 2 multiplied by of 3. We can say like this. So these two vectors are parallel because they both are working along x-axis. I cap means they are having a component along positive x-axis. Okay. In the previous day, I have told you about the positive and negative x-axis as well, right? All the axes are properly explained. So in this case, when I am saying that A vector equals to 3 I cap and B vector equals to 6 I cap, so both of the vectors are working along the positive x-axis. Okay, and their direction is same obviously, and their magnitude, I can say one of the vector is having the magnitude which is a multiple of another vector. So these two conditions are satisfied for them, so that's why I'm saying they are parallel vectors. So what are the two conditions? First condition is both the vectors are having same direction, right? Second condition, one vector, oh, it should be magnitude of one vector. It will be more uh, specific. So I can say magnitude of one vector is a scalar multiple, is a scalar multiple of, sorry, magnitude of one vector is a scalar multiple of the magnitude of another vector. This thing we can say. So the 2 points that I have mentioned, that whenever these 2 points are satisfied, so I can say that two vectors are parallel. So that's why I am concluding that here A vector and B vector are parallel. Whether this thing is clear, as you know that my handwriting is not so much good, but if you are having any problem, tell me.
No, sir, it's clear.
Okay, okay. The rest of the people, girls, just say whether it is clear or not. Okay, there is a chat message. Let me just check it. Okay, okay, okay. Now we are moving to another slide. Till that time, whether the writing is finished for the previous slides and this slide. If it is not finished, don't worry. I will send you the PDF to the group as well. Till that time, just understand whatever the things we are delivering. Okay. Now I'm moving to the next slide. Okay. The next slide, that is anti-parallel vector. Anti-parallel vectors. So what I mean by anti-parallel vectors? That means, suppose I am taking the example as A vector equals to 5 I cap and B vector equals to, we are saying suppose 10 minus 10 I cap. Okay. In this case, if we are defining these two vectors, that the one vector is having the value of 5 I cap, another vector is minus 10 I cap. That means the two vectors are not working along the same direction. They are working along opposite direction. If I draw the coordinate axis to make you understand, that means I can say, suppose this is positive x-axis, this is negative x-axis. The vertical one, it is positive y-axis, this is negative y-axis. So in this case, I can say that A vector is having the magnitude along x-axis, it is of 5 unit. I am talking about the magnitude, but B vector is having the magnitude of suppose 10 unit along negative x-axis. That means along negative x-axis the value is 10 unit. Why I am saying the magnitude along negative x-axis of B vector is 10 unit? Because in this case I have written as minus 10 I cap, but whenever you will find out the magnitude of the vectors, it will obviously come in positive. So magnitude of A vector, it is equals to 5 unit, you can say, and magnitude of B vector, it is equals to under root of minus 10 whole square. So it will become under root of plus 10 whole square. So I am saying the root over and the square, they are cancelled out. So I am getting only 10 unit, you can say. Okay, because in this case I can't use the meter, centimeter, so on. So I'm writing only 10 unit, 5 unit in this way. That means A vector is working along the positive x-axis, but B vector is working along negative x-axis. And the magnitude of A vector is actually the scalar product of the magnitude of B vector. Like 5 2s are 10, right? So that's why I'm saying that these two vectors are anti-parallel in nature. Okay. So the two conditions that I have said verbally, I'm just writing down here also. So I'm just changing the ink. So the first condition, the two vectors, A vector and B vector are working in opposite direction, Second point that I can say, that magnitude of one vector is a scalar product, sorry, just move to the next slide. Magnitude of one vector is a scalar product of magnitude of another vector. Okay. So whenever these 2 points are satisfied, then only I can say that these two vectors are anti-parallel in nature. Okay, so in this example, the A vector and B vector, these two vectors are anti-parallel in nature. Whether this thing is clear, everyone?
Yes, sir.
Okay, very good. The rest of the people, girls, whether this thing is clear? Point 2, obviously I can say. Now, Magnitude of one vector is a scalar product of magnitude of another vector. How I can see? Because you can see the magnitude of A vector is 5 units, but magnitude of B vector is 10 units. So it can be said that magnitude of B vector is equals to twice the magnitude of A vector, right? Here I have just written magnitude of B vector, it is equals to twice the magnitude of A vector, because B vector is how much? 10 units. It is equals to 2 multiplied by of 5, right? Because magnitude of A vector, it is of 5. So that's why I can say that 2 multiplied by the magnitude of A vector, it is equals to the magnitude of B vector. Same in the previous one, that means for parallel vector, the second point, whatever I have written, in the case of anti-parallel also, I am just written the same point. Okay. Why that these two things are clear, everyone? Preeti, why that it is clear? Okay, now we are moving. I will give some questions, okay, related to the anti-parallel vector, parallel vector, equal vector, equivalent vector, everything. Now, in the next case, till that time, whatever the topics we have covered, okay, after that we'll just learn that what is actually a zero vector. Oh, sorry, it is not moving. Let me just move it. Okay. So now it is a zero vector. So why that this kind of vector actually exists, and how I can say this is actually a zero vector? That means we can say that a vector who is having a magnitude of 0 and it is not having any particular direction, that kind of vector is known as zero vector. Suppose I am saying that A vector it is equals to 0, B vector it is equals to 0, or C vector equals to 0. So I am unable to predict the direction of that particular vector. I don't know in which direction it is working, because whenever it is working along any particular direction, it should have the magnitude along with, right? So in this case, I will write down the definition of a zero vector. That means the vector, the vector of magnitude, the vector of magnitude is 0 and it's not having any particular direction, any particular or specific, you can say. Okay, so the vector of magnitude is 0 and it is not having any particular or specific direction. That kind of vector is known as zero vector. That kind of a vector is known as zero vector. So in this case, A vector, B vector, C vector, these three vectors are 0, right? They are having a magnitude of 0 and they don't have any specific direction. That's why I am saying that these are the zero vectors. Okay. Sometimes what happens? Whenever we just calculate, suppose we are adding two vectors or we are subtracting two vectors. So finally, we are getting the answer as 0. So then we can say that it is a zero vector. Okay. There in the chapter of vector, there are the two specific laws that we have to study. One is triangle law of vector addition. Second one is parallelogram law of vector addition. These two laws and their derivation is most important. Okay. After that, the next important topic is dot product and cross product. Okay. After that, this chapter will be finished. In this week, we can finish the chapter of vector and then we'll move for the kinematics. Okay. Whether up to that much, whether everything is clear? In the zero vector and in other vectors also, do you have any doubt? You can ask. Okay. Now at this point of time, there is the time to start another class. So at this time, I'm just leaving the class. I'm just ending the presenting of slides. So thank you so much, everyone. Bye bye. Be safe. I'm just sending the total PPT or the presentation that we have discussed with you people in the group, as well as I will upload the recording in YouTube and I will send you the link. Okay. Okay.
Yes,
Thank you.
sir.
Okay. Bye bye.
Thank you, sir.